8,372 Muslim men and boys. 8,372 lives that were taken. 8,372 reasons to tell this story. My name is Spahalic, and this is Unsafe Haven. Today's episode is going to be a brief history of the Bosnian War and the events directly leading up to the genocide in Srebrenica. Srebrenica is a city in eastern Bosnia, close to the Serbian border. The city was named after and known for the silver that was found and mined there during the Roman Empire. Srebro is the Bosnian word for silver.
Prije rata bio je život vrlo dobar. Imali smo sve,
This man goes by the nickname Tabak. He said that before the war, life in Srebrenica was really good. He went on to remember a famous hotel in the city overlooking the water, and all the various schools that he and others like him would attend growing up. He lived in and around Srebrenica before and during the war, eventually serving as a soldier when the time came.
Pa svijet treba da zna o Srebrenici da je Srebrenica jedno bilo mjesto gdje je bilo I Srba I Muslimana.
Tabak goes on to say that before the war, Srebrenica was a place of peace and coexistence between the Bosnians, Serbians, and few Croatians that lived in the area.
Srebrenica je jedno lijepo mjesto, bogato mjesto, prirodno mjesto. Svijet treba da zna da je taj narod...
Srebrenica is a nice place, a rich place, a natural place. The world needs to know that these people are extremely polite, good, and welcoming. They were always welcoming. They would welcome anybody, anytime. The world should have protected that. Those were innocent people. Now, I don't know if the world was interested in knowing or not knowing because we were Muslims. I don't think Muslims are bad people.
Rat je počeo početkom aprila.
The war began by the beginning of April.
Za ovih 9 mjeseci
Former Bosnian President Alija Izetbegovic.
preko 200.000 ljudi u Bosni I Hercegovini.
In the last 9 months, more than 200,000 people have been killed in Bosnia.
The war in Bosnia began in April of 1992. Tensions had been rising since early 1991, but after the referendum of independence on March 1st, 1992, problems among locals and their Serbian and Croatian neighbors rose substantially. A month later, the lives of Bosnians across the country would be changed forever. Intense fighting ensued, and Bosnia was being attacked by Chetniks, or Serbian soldiers, with full force. Cities were being burned down. Men were taken prisoner and forced into concentration camps. Civilians were forced out of their homes and expelled to territories that were controlled by the Bosnian army and its government. However, not everyone made it to those areas. Bosnians from surrounding villages and cities such as Zvornik, Visegrad, and Bijeljina were forced into the Srebrenica enclave. After terrorizing the people into fleeing their homes, the Serbian army then blocked off sections to prevent further entry into Bosnian-controlled areas. A year later, in April of 1993, the United Nations adopted Resolution 819, declaring Srebrenica a safe haven.
We are discussing, of course, the situation in Bosnia, and we reviewed the situation in Bosnia, but with a lot of emphasis on the United Nations. I'm delighted
Former U.S. President George H.W. Bush talks about the United Nations taking the lead on addressing the situation in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Access will be given to the International Red Cross.
The resolution promised to send troops to protect civilians and provide humanitarian aid under one main condition. Every Bosnian must surrender their weapons. Since it was declared a non-militarized zone, this meant that the people relied solely on UN peacekeepers to protect them from Chetniks.
And that's the United Nations force there in Sarajevo.
In Bosnia, many refer to the United Nations as United Ništa, which means United Nothing. because that is what they believe they did in Srebrenica. Nothing. The UN Dutch battalion was responsible for keeping Srebrenica safe. They were also responsible for distributing food, providing medical assistance, and any other humanitarian needs that might come up during wartime. The general of the Vojska Republike Srpske, Ratko Mladic, and Dutch forces commander, Thomas Jacob Peter Keremans, speaking to one another in Srebrenica. Chetniks were still committing atrocities all over Bosnia, but they knew that they would catch more flies with honey and not vinegar. They began fraternizing with the Dutch peacekeepers in Srebrenica, drinking and partying with them in order to gain their trust. Eventually, their manipulation would pay off. My name is Spahalic, and this has been part 1 of Unsafe Haven.